Summary of the most relevant national and international news of the day, here on ICI Noticias Canada. With its presenter Angelica Cifuentes. On January 20, 2025, Donald Trump was officially sworn in as President of the United States, marking the start of his second term in the White House. In a ceremony that combined controversy and political polarization, Trump laid out a vision for government centered on his familiar pillars: America First, economic revitalization, strengthening borders, and a strong foreign policy stance. During his inaugural address, Trump emphasized his commitment to reversing key policies of the previous administration, highlighting the need to renegotiate international agreements that he says have harmed U.S. interests. Trump also used the occasion to announce an aggressive approach to immigration, including restarting construction of the border wall with Mexico and tightening deportation policies. On the economic front, he promised to implement additional tax cuts for businesses, arguing that this will encourage job growth and attract foreign investment. He also reiterated his intention to impose tariffs on countries that he says benefit from unfair trade practices, a strategy that could trigger international tensions, especially with Canada and China. The inauguration ceremony was not without controversy. Protesters in Washington, D.C., and in several cities across the country expressed their rejection of Trump's return to power, citing concerns about the future of civil rights, climate change, and diplomatic relations. On the other hand, his supporters filled the streets near the Capitol, celebrating what they described as the return of true American leadership. The start of this term raises important questions about the direction the United States will take in the next 4 years, both in its domestic policy and on the global stage. Trump's presidency promises to be, once again, a period of great challenges and profound changes. Below is an excerpt from Donald Trump's speech. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. Well, thank you very much to Vice President Vance, President Johnson, Senator Thune, Chief Justice Roberts, the Justices of the Supreme Court of the United States, President Clinton, President Bush, President Obama, President Biden, Vice President Harris, and my fellow Americans. America's golden age begins right now. From this day forward, our country will flourish and be respected around the world again. We will be the envy of every nation, and we will not allow ourselves to be taken advantage of any longer. During each day of the Trump administration, I will simply put America first. Our sovereignty will be reclaimed. Our security will be restored. The scales of justice will be rebalanced. The ruthless, violent, and unjust use of the weapons of the Department of Justice and our government will end. And our highest priority will be to create a nation that is proud, prosperous, and free. For ways your finances could change under Trump's second term, Canadians are keeping an eye on their finances for any impact as President Donald Trump takes back the reins of government in the United States. But one of the biggest economic threats of Trump's second term, a promise to impose blanket tariffs on goods entering the United States from Canada and other trading partners, appears to have been put on hold. Those tariffs will not be implemented on Trump's first day in office, as the president once proposed, the Wall Street Journal first reported. Instead, he will issue a memo calling for a broad review of U.S. trade, focusing on China, Canada, and Mexico, which could see tariffs imposed at a later date. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency, CFIA, has ordered a recall of certain batches of eggs from 6 brands in Canada due to possible salmonella contamination. The affected provinces include British Columbia, Ontario, and Manitoba, although others may be added. The agency clarified that foods contaminated by salmonella may not give any apparent signs of the condition, but can still make those who consume them sick. Ontario Premier Doug Ford has announced that in response to U.S. President Donald Trump's threat to impose a 25% tariff on all Canadian imports, he has instructed the Liquor Control Board of Ontario, LCBO, to remove all U.S. origin alcoholic beverages from its shelves if the tariffs are implemented. Your opinion matters. Subscribe and follow us on our YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook platforms as ICI Noticias Canada. to always be informed with the most important news and in-depth analysis.